This is pain. I can't get one single leg in. Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another review. This time we're looking at the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class Mudflap. Oh boy, as you all may have figured out at this point, I do the reverse transformation first. And we'll get to that later in the video, of course. It wasn't fun. So I'm just reeling still over having to mess around with this figure for 23 minutes, trying to put him into this stupid mode. But anyway, you'll see that later in the video. So, Mudflap here, I believe he turns into a Chevy Trax from memory. That was the vehicle mode. I've not researched it. I've researched the transformation before this, of course, because I've been putting off doing this guy and his brother for so long, and they just happen, as of shooting this, to be the last deluxes in my collection for me to actually review. So, you know, we're getting towards the end at the minute, although he's orange, that's his primary colour, that's what he was in Revenge of the Fallen. It's actually an okay vehicle mode. You know, it's a little bit dull when it comes to the paint job here. Primarily orange, you've got like a mid-tone grey going along the front and the sides. You've got the Chevy logo there, so it's an officially endorsed replica vehicle of that. He does have his name on his rear license plate there. It says Mudflap, and he has a big erect missile coming out of his exhaust. That's, I suppose, the quote weapon storage, even though he doesn't have a weapon, so it's the firing missile, you know. It's a gas plume. Off he goes. I'm being salty with this guy because he pissed me off earlier. What becomes what? Well, it would help if he was in focus, wouldn't it? There are his arms, there are his legs, his head is hidden behind here. The windows are tinted in such a way, though, that it is difficult to see inside, so it's not obvious where it is. So that's actually appreciated. Skids, on the other hand, when you check out his review, it's a bit different, it's a bit clearer. But overall, it's a decent vehicle mode, actually. It's probably his best mode, because his robot mode, let's just say it's not as accurate as it could be to how he looked in the film, and I'll explain. And it's probably going to be obvious when you see it. Does he roll? He actually does, decently, despite the fact that I had a very hard time getting these stupid legs into place, and you'll see the reverse transformation later. That wasn't fun. But anyway, let's pull that out, and yeah, little missile here. It's kind of like moulded after a flame or gas cloud or whatever. It's all painted grey, and it's fine, and it will go into his arms. Yeah, we'll get to it. It's whatever. It's a little accessory, but overall, I do like the vehicle mode. Okay, let's get to it, shall we? Let's try and do a transformation.
No! Stop what you're doing!
But you know what? Forget about that for a moment, because I realised why I transformed Skids into car mode, who I'm shooting next, by the way, before any of this, so I could show these two off in vehicle mode. They do look good together. I do like Skid's vehicle mode a lot more, though, actually, because he's just got more detail going on. He's got this weird pattern on the side, little black hood there. It rolls really nicely as well. It's just nice and compact, and it's just better to look at than Mudflap, to be honest, who just looks a bit dull by comparison. But yeah, that's the brothers. They both say their names on the back there, and yeah, I mean, you can see stuff inside Skids, as I said earlier, and yeah, there you go. That's them together in vehicle mode. Okay, so to transform Mudflap into robot mode, first of all, as we did a moment ago, get rid of that. Just rip it out of there. Right, where the hell do I even begin? Let's start with the legs. Rip them out like that, and just keep them down. And now, faithful viewers, I'm never going to be able to get them back in because I've taken them out. Straighten his legs. They are crunched up on a double hinge, like a reverse chicken leg. And then with the, I suppose, like the little hub bits here, it's technically personal preference. You could rotate them in. I believe you're meant to rotate them back, though. And then bring the feet down. He has bigger feet than his brother, so in theory he should be able to stand a lot better. Then same thing on this one. Rotate the caps back, I think, and then bring the feet flat. And for God's sake, leave them hanging. If you want a better time of this, just leave them hanging. And then unclip those stupid little bits. These annoy me. And you can see like part of the problem here that I experienced with the reverse transformation. They get stuck. Like the headlights somehow wrap around there and then they get stuck, and I hate that. I hate them. I don't know why these bits are like that. They're not like that on Skids. He doesn't have the same thing. Anyway, I'm still Mardy. Open them up and then take the little bumper bit there, fold that in, which I think some reviewers actually might forget to do, but hey ho, that's what you meant to do. And then somehow really tug on these doors. Now, they do have little thin clips which, you know, attach these. Such style clips are liable to breaking, as you might have experienced with my review of the Fallen, similar sort of tabs. So, but you're really going to have to pull because they lodge themselves in there, oh, very securely. And yeah, you can see little thin things here. Bring them down. Just leave them. Bring them down and leave them. And this one has disconnected itself mercifully. So, all of that, fold that. You're not going to keep that up. We're going to deal with that. Bring the head, clip it in, and then we're going to rotate all of that like that, basically. Bring the arms out, small arm first, rotate it out like that, keep it straight, and then his big goofy arm, rotate it so the tyres are in. And now the roof section. Now the roof section can be very confusing with these two brothers because it's the sort of tabbing system where you can see it wants to plank itself like that, except it doesn't go that way. And you may think, okay, do we plank it that way, or do we push that in like that and plank it that way? Well, what you're actually meant to do is take the windscreen, number one, fold the bonnet in like that, and then take the windscreen very carefully, because all of this is clear plastic. It's just painted over, but it is all clear, and you know what clear plastic's like. It could break. But fold the windscreen over the lip of the two outer bits like that. Push that in, and there you go. That's how it's meant to be. So take a note of that, because I realise that can be very confusing, and over the years I myself have been confused by that. And then that allows you to push and collapse all of that into its most compact form. So, then, return to the front and flip these doors up like this. Move them up. And then we are going to somehow kind of collapse all of this. And there is a square slot just on the underside of where the missile slots in. And it's meant to, technically, tab into there. Mudflap, please don't do this to me. I've already had grief from you today.
Why are you not folding properly?
Okay, that wasn't as bad as I was thinking. I just had to turn him upside down, bring him close, and really just try and fold that in properly and see what on earth was going on in there. Just trying to... You won't be... I don't know if you can see that right there, but you can kind of see the rectangular tab that I was on about a moment ago. He doesn't tab in very well, and I think this is what a lot of other reviewers have come to realise with this guy. He doesn't tab particularly well. Now, historically, I feel like I've been able to get this. But today, Mudflap is being a d***head. Okay, we got him. Again, I suppose I was exaggerating about the difficulty of that, but you'll see the reverse transformation. I lost my rag. Anyway, now, in terms, that's him basically done, in essence. It's just, what do you do with the doors? And this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of him not being as accurate to the film as he possibly could be. That stupid light there. Because in the film, much like Bumblebee, he has his doors behind his shoulders. Now, the way that this figure is engineered, that's impossible. You can't do it. So the question is, what do you do with them? And it's personal preference. Now, back in the day, I used to display him like that. That doesn't look too bad. To today, I kind of like to push them down like that, which isn't too bad either. And it makes him, I suppose, shorter than having them straight up like that. I mean, that doesn't look terrible. But having them collapsed on his shoulders like that, I suppose brings them the closest to how they look in the film, which again, you can't get it accurate just because of all of this stupid car kibble going on there. And stand him up on his big flat feet, and basically there you go. That is one Mudflap fully transformed into robot mode. Halle flaming Yuya. What do I think of the robot mode? How does it look? Well, it's odd, isn't it? Just because they didn't break up all of that back stuff going on there. It makes him look very boxy, and it prohibits what you can do with the doors there. As we zoom in and have a look at this noggin, it is a very accurate face sculpt to the film, so that's good. That's probably the best thing about this entire thing. Their head looks good. I do like the way that the chest is broken up. It's like a big smiling mouth with a big old moustache going on there. It's a unique look. And yeah, he's oddly proportioned, isn't he? Because it's asymmetrical. He's got his small arm there, but he's got his big boxing arm there. I don't know why they thought this was a good design, really. It's just weird. Autobot symbol on his crotch. That's a bizarre place to have it. I suppose we couldn't have it on his chest because of the Chevy branding and all of that. Big feet. They help with the stability and to keep him upright. And of course, so much kibble. A lot of it is collapsed up inside of this, but the fact that this isn't broken up at all, just he's so boxy, and he fell over of his own accord there. So it's a very bizarre design choice. I think he could do with an update, but I don't think the studio series is going to touch this guy anytime soon. Okay, in terms of gimmickry then, so we'll start with the most obvious one, his arm. If you close his fist, boom, that all opens up. That's pretty cool. I suppose that is his Mecha Live gimmick, because I don't think he's got anything else apart from the second gimmick that we'll get to. Slot the missile in, and then let's see if I can get him around the corner, how well it fires. Pretty well is the answer. And then the other gimmick with Mudflap is his chest, and he shares this with Skids as well. When you push on his chest, number one, you disconnect him from everything. Oh no, Mudflap. You push on his chest, loads of panels move everywhere, and his head bops up and down. So I guess it's meant to simulate him talking. You can see the lights moving as well. It's a simple and effective thing. I don't know if specific engineering was sacrificed in order to accommodate it. It's just a load of like springs and stuff inside. But, you know, it's something he can do. It's not too bad, is it? It's not too bad at all. In terms of articulation then, Mudflap's head looks to be on a ball joint, so he can do a 360 swivel. He can't really look up, but he can look down a little bit like that. Again, I think it's just because of the shape of his head and, you know, the moulding and all of that. He's prohibited from certain dynamic poses. If we move all of this gaff out of the way here, then we can see his shoulders can rotate 360 degrees. They can lift up about that far. He has a bicep rotation of about that far that way. And well, okay, you can do 360. I was about to think that he couldn't, but yeah, it's a mushroom peg, as you can see there. So you could actually probably pop it off. He's got double jointed elbows, which allow over 90 degrees of bend like that. And then he has 360 wrist swivel as well. In terms of the waist and the abs, I suppose if you wanted to pretend that's sort of an ab crunch, even though it's not, you know, knock yourself out. He doesn't have anything at the waist, though. He can't twist it. And if you try and go up and down, then you just disconnect him like I just have. Oh, fun and pain and fun. Get back in there, you idiots. As for the other arm, again, it can move out, it can twist, all in the same places. It's got basically the same articulation as the other arm, except the fist on this one. It can't rotate, but it can go in and out to accompany the gun gimmick that he's got going on there. At the hips, they are ball jointed, so there's a little bit of inward and outward rotation there. Forward kick of about that far. Blasted missile, get back in. The legs can go back out that far. They are slightly prohibited by this little kibble there. At the knees, they are double jointed knees, so they can go over 90 degrees like that. I'm just not doing it because I don't want to knock anything else out of place. He has ball jointed, no, they are mushroom pegs, sorry. He has mushroom pegs at the knees, so you've got 360 swivel there. In terms of a ball joint, though, he's got ball jointed ankles, so you've got rocker, pivot, and a full range of articulation there. The overall articulation is actually decently impressive. It's just the nature of the mould just makes him quite prohibited because of all of this stupid kibble. Next up, you'll see the size comparison that I shot before this, and then you're going to get to the reverse transformation where you see my pain. Enjoy that. For a size comparison then, here is Mudflap next to Nest Global Alliance Bumblebee. Here he is next to the Revenge of the Fallen Legends class combined Devastator. And then here he is next to his twin brother Skids. And last but not least, here's Mysterio.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for!
So, to transform Mudflap back into vehicle mode, fair warning, it is kind of an advanced transformation. It's not per se difficult, but it's intricate.
Ironic.
The first thing we're going to do is disconnect him from his back carriage like that and try and fan all of this out, folding that bit back. At the chest, we're going to fold that up and then disconnect the head plate there. And get that back, unhook all of that, bring it all forwards, these flaps forward here, and try and assemble all of this correctly. Trying to remember exactly how you do it. Fold that, like that, and then bring it all down for now for the sake of clearance. Try and get that panel out of the way, and then we're going to rotate all of this around, keeping his head back, and then get those bits there and fold them back over the windscreen, whilst bringing that flap back up like that. It's all clear plastic, so just be careful. And then with the arm, we're going to bend him at the elbow, put the big one in first, pop that away. There's a lot of things just clashing into other things, which makes this a little bit cumbersome and tedious to do. I'm going to bend that one there, fold that all up and away, and there we go. So that's basically the back end of the Chevy all sorted. So now let's work on the front bit and get these doors into position after we pop them off the ball joint. Okay. The tricky bit will be keeping all of these panels together, and hopefully nothing will break as we do this. Fold the door in like that, and then same thing on this side. Let's get the little wing mirrors through the little gaps that are there on the door, so they have to go in a particular way. And popping in that there, that one's come undone. Oh, such fun. There we go. Making sure that's popped in at the front. Trying to get the windscreen on correctly. Put those side bits in, and then it's just the legs to do now. So we want to fold the feet in like this. And then we kind of want to be reverse chicken leg with the legs. So whilst Decepticons usually bend backward, we're going to bend these forward with Mudflap and disconnect the front of the car as we do. That's annoying. Yeah, the little wing mirrors don't go into those gaps very well. They like to move about, and that likes to disconnect a lot of the front. Okay, so same thing there, we've done that, and then take the tyres on the side and fold the caps forward like that. And now we're going to just try to shimmy the legs into the gaps here, which is a little bit difficult to do when you are a significant distance from the figure because you're trying to film a review on camera. Okay, one side in. Try and flatten the leg and all of that as much as you can for the sake of clearance underneath to allow him to roll properly. So front end in. Let's get that rear tab in. And a lot of the problem with this is that the front just doesn't want to line up all together. It looks a little bit messy when all is said and done, and I'm still not doing something right here. Is it that? Have I not pushed that in correctly, have I? No, it's got to be something else I've missed here. Oh, what is it? It was all going so well. Now I'm confused. This is why I didn't want to do this figure. This is why I've been putting it off. God, oh my God, it's confusing. See if that's not lined up properly. You could to finding me partway through trying to figure out what on earth is going on here, and this is why this transformation sequence is a pain in the arse. Now the door's popped off for one, but you can see here not a lot of this is lining up properly, and it's a constant struggle, especially with these little side flaps here. They like to push themselves too far in, so you've got to take it apart and kind of redistribute it, and these legs aren't attaching properly for some unknown reason. Oh, I don't like transforming the twins. I hate these things. What the f*** is going wrong here? This is pain. This is just unfiltered pain. I've been 13 minutes trying to transform this idiot, and his front end won't combine. I'm having to squish him. These little pieces of shit. Come on, son of a bitch. I can't get this back in. I can't get this shit back in. Come on, Mudflap, you get. Go back. Why is this such a pain in the arse? This shouldn't be so difficult. Oh, Nora. Oh, I hate. You bastard. Do you know what the irony is? After doing that, he came right. And he actually was cooperative after doing that. What? So, I cannot explain properly how I actually managed to just jivvy it in, but it's just a lot of hold him close to your body when you're doing it. And for one, don't hold him at arm's length like you have to do for a review. If you're a normal person and you hold your figures close, continue to do that. Just, I don't know, just try and wedge it in somehow. I cannot explain what we did there. I just can't. I can't do it. Watch another review for a step-by-step on how to transform him. Just because I've been recording this transformation segment for 23 minutes. Okay, folks, that's been our look at the Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class Mudflap. Okay, he's not the worst thing in the world, because I don't hate the figure. But by Joe, transforming him is a misery at times. Sometimes he and his brother are really nice, like Skids was today for me. Other times, they can go straight to hell. Now, the overall sculpt is good. I wouldn't say it's great, because, again, very boxy, lots of kibble on him. The range of articulation that he's got is, you know, it's borderline good, borderline impressive, really. It's just limited. Considering that the only other versions of the character are the ice cream truck version and the Dark of the Moon version, this is probably the best Mudflap that's out there. I recommend him if you want the character in your collection. Otherwise, if you want to steer clear after seeing this, feel free. And I wouldn't blame you. Thank you, everybody, for staying by and watching this video. Staying by, that's not how I usually say it. Anyway, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And if you want other people to see my pain and misery. And until next time, see you all later.